I recently served 10 years in the South Carolina Department of Corrections. That is the same Department of Corrections and prisons that AlexMurdaugh is currently serving his 2 life sentences. The most recent headlines about Murdaugh in the news is from his lawyer stating that AlexMurdaugh is absolutely ready to come off of protective custody. He no longer wants to be isolated in that area, and he wants to be in general population with the rest of the inmates. If you've seen any of the numerous other videos I've made, at least 20 or so about AlexMurdaugh in the past, I mean, coming from my own experience, I have interviewed inmates who are currently at these South Carolina prisons who are using contraband cell phones to FaceTime me, to video call me, and I've recorded it and asked them, what is going to happen to AlexMurdaugh if he comes to general population? What are you going to do? What is everyone else saying they'll do? What do you think will happen? Straight from the horse's mouth if you don't want to hear it from me. I've even asked former South Carolina corrections officers who I've interviewed on other videos on my YouTube channel. I've heard it from all angles, and I'm telling you myself, it's the same thing I've said, number one, in the past in my videos. Anytime this topic comes up or has come up before these recent headlines, I've said AlexMurdaugh is not going to stay in isolation. He's not going to remain on protective custody. And this fact seems to be puzzling some of these news anchors and other people who are covering this who just can't fathom why he would want to go to general population. Well, I'm just going to recap. I'm going to give you all the reasons why he would want to go to general population and why there's no reason for him not to want to go to general population. One thing I'm hearing, they think AlexMurdaugh has a death wish and that he's trying to go to general population because he wants to get hurt, because he just can't take it and he needs to end it all. He doesn't have a death wish. Why would he get hurt? I've talked to all these inmates. The guys doing the hurting back there, they don't care about that. What did he do? His crimes, who he murdered, yes, they're terrible. But do those guys care? No, they don't. Who he is, he was a prosecutor, a lawyer. Do they care? No. Well, what about the guys who he put back there? What, you mean all like 5 or 6 of them? Are they even still back there? If they run into him, do they even know that he was their prosecutor? I could look my prosecutor right in the eyes right here and now, and I wouldn't know who they are. I would not realize that's my prosecutor, and a lot of inmates back there wouldn't know theirs either. And if that's the case, are you going to be mad at the judge and the cop who arrested you, the detective who gathered evidence, the judge who sentenced you, the jury who convicted? Where does it end? If there is a guy who just is out for blood and wants to get Murdaugh, it's probably not going to be able to. You got to understand these prisons, especially, I can tell you specifically, South Carolina prison structure, as far as these inmates and these prisoners, it's very sophisticated. It's not just the Wild West where anyone with a grudge or a chip is going to go stab whoever they got a problem with. You got to get permission from the influential gang members and leaders of each cell block. There are politics. Everyone, even if you're not in a gang, if you're just out there by yourself and you're just Joe Blow in there. Everyone is associated in some way with someone else, whether through business, you guys benefit off each other, food, financial, drugs, something. If you're smart, which pretty much every inmate is going to wisen up to this fact within a few weeks of being in prison. I'm sure AlexMurdaugh already has himself. You're going to find a way to be beneficial. And AlexMurdaugh has no shortage of ways he can be beneficial. He's going to be fine. He's going to be important to somebody who is much more important than anybody in that cell block who, I don't like AlexMurdaugh, I'm going to beat him up. Well, no, you're probably not. You're not going to be allowed to touch him because he's going to be beneficial to somebody in there. So let's just put that to rest. He's not trying to go to general population because he has a death wish. He's probably not even going to be touched. And I understand this isn't what most people want to hear. Most people who are watching these videos, you want to hear he's got it coming for him. Something's going to happen to him. They're out for blood. They want him bad. His days are numbered. I get that, and I understand that. But, do you want me to get on here and tell you what's going to make you feel good, or do you just want the truth? Okay, because just by all accounts, from everyone's perspective, including mine, the inmates, the guards, myself, no word of anyone is out there saying they want to get AlexMurdaugh. What I am hearing is that, boy, they can't wait for AlexMurdaugh to come around them. They want to benefit off him in this way. They want him to help them in this way. They want to see if he can be useful to them in this area with this little thing that they do. There is no shortage of ideas and brainstorming going on by these inmates of how they can find a way to benefit from AlexMurdaugh. So it sounds like people are it's the opposite. People are just itching to get in touch and get around and rub elbows with AlexMurdaugh. Also, I've stated this before in numerous other videos. Yeah, he can be around other inmates who are also on PC in protective custody. He's not locked behind his door in a cell 24, 23 hours a day. No, he gets to come out. He gets to use the phone. He gets to watch a TV. He gets canteen. He gets snacks. He gets to play cards. What he doesn't get, and what there is going to be a shortage of in protective custody, that you can really only get in general population, cell phones, contraband cell phones. You know he wants to get on a cell phone. He probably wants to watch all this media coverage of him and YouTube videos, maybe even this one. You know he does. He wants to get on a cell phone. He wants to get in touch with people. He's probably tired of having his phone calls leaked, and he wants to make it on a secure contraband cell phone. Well, you can get those, and you can get access to that on day one in general population. And I guarantee you he's someone's told him that by now. Drugs. What do you want? Weed, meth, heroin, pills, K2, tobacco, you name it. It's all there. And if you don't believe me, again, check out my videos. I've put actual footage that have been taken by the inmates of weed, digital scales, tobacco, people high on drugs. I put the actual footage in my videos. So it's just, if you take my word for it that it's there. If you don't, go check it out. But it's all there. It's all there waiting on him. And he knows that. I can guarantee you he's been told that by now. He's ready to get in there and do that. So that's another reason he would want to go to general population. Now, what are the chances he will actually, ultimately, at some point go to general population? And how does that work? Well, from my experience in there, from what I've seen and with my understanding, inmates who are on PC, on protective custody, especially when it's not something like they snitched on someone in there, or they were in a gang and they did something, that really made that gang mad, and they, the whole gang is after them every yard they go to. They have this, gangs, if they're going to get you, they're going to get you, especially one of their own who has violated too many rules. That's a whole nother conversation. But those are the most common reasons why someone's on protective custody. Not because, this guy's case is all over the news. At the end of the day, what he did wrong, his crimes, his charges, his punishment is prison. But once you get to prison, as of right now, AlexMurdaugh has not done anything wrong. And maybe you don't want to hear that, but everyone there who gets these privileges has done something wrong. That's why they're in prison. But when you misbehave in prison and do things wrong in prison, that's when you lose your privileges, such as being able to, just your basic right in prison to be in general population. So if he hasn't done anything wrong, he's just back there because the staff placed him back there in protective custody because he's a little famous right now. That's not going to hold up. And these guys go in front of a review board at least every 6 months or so. And they review all the reasons and everything that they have in that little folder in their file for Murdaugh about why he's up there in the first place, why he's on protective custody. And it does matter. He is going to get a chance to say, no, please keep me on protective custody, or hey, I've been ready since day one to get off of protective custody. I want out of here. And that is going to matter. It is going to make a difference in what their ruling is. And I can guarantee you within 6 months, he's probably, when he goes up in front of that review board, he's 99% likely going to get taken off protective custody and put back in the general population. That's just my 2 cents. Take it or leave it. Hope this helped. Hope it gave you some insight. And if you want, check out these other videos I've been talking about. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Have a good day.